Good evening, everyone. It's 7:05 on Monday, May 13th, 2024. We will reconvene the Glendora Unified School District Board of Education meeting from closed session. This is the open session portion, and would you please do a roll call?
Board Member Reuter.
Present.
Board Clerk Lopez.
Here.
Vice President Garcia.
Here.
President Clifford.
Present.
Please note that Board Member Markley is absent.
Thank you. We'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Aiden, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That moves us to any reportable action from closed session, which there was none. We'll move on down to adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt our current agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous vote. We'll move to board recognitions. Employees and rookies of the year. Dr. Dominic DeGrazia, yes? Dr. Dominic DeGrazia, please.
Dr. Osborne will help recognize our employees and our rookies of the year for this school year. Dr. Osborne.
I'm thrilled to celebrate the exceptional achievements of our colleagues who have distinguished themselves this year. First, I'd like to recognize 2 Rookies of the Year. These staff members are new to GUSD and therefore are being recognized for their positive impact they've had on our organization during their first year. Our classified Rookie of the Year is Miss Samantha Ledesma. Samantha joined the Stanton team this year in her role as school office assistant, where her focus on serving students and staff while supporting the smooth operation of a very busy elementary school office was incredibly impactful. This position was her first school office position that Samantha has held, and she quickly learned, managed difficult tasks with ease, and contributed to the professional and welcoming environment at Stanton. Samantha, on behalf of the district, thank you. Thank you for making a profound difference on Stanton. Please join me in congratulating Miss Samantha Ledesma as our classified Rookie of the Year. Our certificated employee of the year is Miss JC Rosas, who serves as one of our dedicated adult transition program teachers. In her first year working at GUSD, Miss Rosas has displayed immense dedication, love, and professionalism for her work. She has worked hard to provide her students with unique and engaging learning experiences both inside the classroom and in our community. These experiences have enabled her students to learn vital life skills and help them to prepare for life after leaving GUSD. Additionally, Ms. Rosas has worked to foster a team approach to education by collaborating with other ATP teachers as well as the classified staff who work alongside her for the betterment of their students. Ms. Rosas is an exemplary teacher who is very deserving of this honor. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Rosas as our certificated Rookie of the Year. Now for our 3 employees of the year. First, our classified employee of the year. Miss Leticia Llamas, Glendora High School's Nutrition Services Site Leader 3. Leticia's hard work goes above and beyond towards feeding the students of Glendora Unified. Her consistent dedication to excellence sets a shining example for everybody on our team. Letty is always putting our students first and makes sure that the meals they receive are nutritious as well as tasty. Letty is a servant leader who is committed to excellence. Additionally, she has a positive, solution-oriented mindset. Congratulations on this outstanding accomplishment, and we're so incredibly grateful to have you as a leader in our Nutrition Services Department. Congratulations, Letty. Next, we'd like to celebrate our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Amy Hogan. Amy has worked for Glendora in a variety of elementary grade levels, most recently serving our 5th grade students at Stanton. Ms. Galindo, principal of Stanton, stated, "Amy goes above and beyond for students, parents, and our staff and the school as a whole." As a 5th grade teacher at a school that departmentalizes, Amy took on learning a new curriculum this year to teach both science and social science, when years before she focused solely on math. She is doing an amazing job at providing hands-on, exciting lessons that students are completely engaged in. Mrs. Hogan has also made it possible for our students to attend field trips that integrate directly with the curriculum. These opportunities would not have been possible for our students had Ms. Hogan not made them a reality. In addition, Mrs. Hogan has taken the lead for their student leadership program, where she helps plan spirit assemblies, leads student leadership activities, and plans events that go beyond the extension of the school day for their students. Amy contributes positively to the staff, is willing to lend a hand to someone in need, is there to listen and give advice to new teachers, and displays a positive, student-centric attitude. It is for all of these reasons and many more that Mrs. Amy Hogan is our Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Amy. And finally, please join me as we celebrate our Administrator of the Year, Mrs. Yumi Kang, Principal of Sutherland. Mrs. Kang is the epitome of a caring, professional principal. She takes great pride in fostering a supportive and positive learning environment for her students and the Sutherland staff. She is both a culture and instructional leader. Mrs. Kang knows her staff and students and cares about them professionally and personally. She works hard to create a positive environment where students and staff love coming to school each and every day. She is also a strong instructional leader, going above and beyond to ensure our GOSD teachers can implement innovative and engaging instruction to ensure Sutherland Cougars have a top-notch educational experience. One would think Mrs. Kang had no time to do more, but a true team player, she does not keep her expertise to Sutherland. She is also a mentor to some of our new principals, supporting their growth and development as leaders to ensure GUSD continues to be the pride of the foothills. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Kang for her dedication and this well-deserved honor.
Eric, would you invite them all back? We'll take a picture with them and the board all together in the front, please.
Sure. Everybody could come on up.
You all color coordinated so nicely. So look at this. Come on in. No, you're in the front. Come on.
Trustee Reuter has the floor.
I just really want to congratulate all of our employees of the year, and I also want to thank all of their family members and friends and colleagues who may have come with them to support this evening. These are really important jobs that each and every one of these members of our Glendora Unified family are doing it, but they couldn't do it without the support of their loved one as well. So it's wonderful to have a full audience of supporters here for these wonderful employees of ours this evening. So I just really wanted to thank all of our employees and everybody that came here tonight to support them.
Okay, we'll move on to public comment 3.7. I have no, pardon?
Couple more recognitions, sir.
Oh, dear, look at me. We're not done with them yet.
That's okay. I've got two great ones to proceed with. First, I want to tell you a little bit about Mr. Jerry Llewellyn, Glendora High School athletic director, baseball coach, longtime GUSD staff member. We would like to congratulate and recognize our very own Jerry Llewellyn, who was recognized on April 13th at the California Athletic Directors Conference in San Diego as the Foothill Citrus Athletic Director Association's rookie, he's no rookie, Athletic Director of the Year. He'll probably get the main award next year or something. His hard work and dedication to providing our student athletes the best possible experience is recognized here and throughout the Valley. Typically behind the scenes, he loves this stuff. And celebrating our student athletes, it is an honor and a privilege to get to recognize Jerry for his selfless service. That's many years of selfless service to kids. Congratulations on the well-deserved honor, Mr. Llewellyn. You're a true gem. Thank you. Please come get your award. That's never good, Jerry. Next up, we'd like to congratulate and recognize this evening Sandburg Middle School on their selection as a California Distinguished School, the first such selection for a school in the Glendora Unified School District in 15 years. A couple Fridays ago, a few of us had the honor, Mr. Clifford and myself including the principal, teacher Cherie Richards, PTA president. We had a great time celebrating the distinguished honor. But we'd like, I know several members of the staff are here this evening to recognize them for such, for closing the achievement gap and addressing the needs of all students each and every day. Sandburg should be very proud of this recognition. It is the highest of recognitions that a school can receive individually. We do have a special guest with us this evening. From Judy Chu's office, we have Zane, and Zane is here to present a special commendation to Sandburg Middle School. Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Zane Hogg. I'm a staff member for Congresswoman Judy Chu. I would like to thank Glendora Unified School District for inviting our office to participate in this celebration tonight. On behalf of Congresswoman Judy Chu, I'm so pleased to be able to present the Glendora Unified School District as well as the faculty and staff at Sandburg Middle School for being a California Distinguished Scholar. This is something that we're overjoyed to hear about, and we're thrilled that this level of education and professionalism is being brought to students all over Glendora. So I'm here to, on behalf of Congresswoman Judy Chu, to say congratulations and to present 2 certificates of congratulations. I said congratulations too many times there.
Well, the more the better. It's always good. It's always good to hear. We also have a certificate from the district and a certificate from Supervisor Catherine Barger's office that we would like to present to Dr. Porcel and all members of the Sandburg staff to please come forward for a picture with the board.
Congratulations. I feel like you two should get in the middle.
Would you like to be in the middle?
Not in the middle. Yeah, they should. Yep. Sorry. There you go.
One, two, three.
Well done. Congratulations.
We're gonna take a picture with Mr. Llewellyn, all that.
Okay, yeah.
So his wife, there's evidentiary value that.
Yeah.
Jerry, you still.
Proof.
Come on, Jerry.
He's hiding. There you go, didn't you? I got you up again, I apologize. No, I just switched it.
Here, we'll go right beside each other.
Oh.
See? One, two, three.
Okay, congratulations.
And now that we have recognized everyone in the room, no, we still have two more?
Gary, you trying to go?
No, no, I'm good, we're good. See, there's, yes, I did that one thing right. Okay, now, I am going to, open up public comment. I have no public comment cards, so I'm gonna open it up. Seeing there's no cards, I'm going to close public comment and move right on. Thank you so much. I think they're gonna. Okay, now that public comment is closed, we're gonna move on to our oral reports. And we have one more little set of recognition for our high school speakers. That'll come during the superintendent's report. So if you wanna sneak out while we're doing this, that would be great. And we're going to move on 4.1, student board member report. And Aiden, are you ready for your report? Locked and loaded, ready to go? All right, this is your last big report. Wait. Okay, we'll do that first, Aiden. Okay. I was gonna move that down to the 6.1, but that's okay. Okay, then we won't do that. So we have a public hearing for the initial joint sunshine proposal from the California State Employees Association, otherwise known around here as CSEA, Glendora Chapter 247, and the Glendora Unified School District for 2024-2025. Dr. DeGrazia.
Yes, this is the annual public hearing to open negotiations for the 24-25 school year. And those sunshine and specific articles will be detailed in item 6.1.
Thank you. So is there any public hearing on this item? No, there is not. We'll close that public hearing also. That being said, now we will move down to 4.1, and we'll have our student board member report. Aiden, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, there you go. Sorry, I had to slip that in on
It's
you.
all good. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna start off with Cullen Elementary. Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week was amazing. PTA and students went above and beyond recognizing the numerous staff members that have had a positive impact on their students this year. Our kindergartners enjoyed a walking field trip to the Glendora Public Library. The number of amazing parent volunteers is what made this trip possible. PTA held their annual installation dinner as a way to thank those who served this year and those that will be taking over in the coming school year. 4th and 5th grade orchestra students performed at the APU Felix Event Center to showcase how much they have improved this year. 5th grade band students performed at APU as well, demonstrating the skill they have learned. Cullen proudly hosted the District Elementary Chess Tournament, which includes students that had taken chess lessons throughout the school year. It was a fun event that gave these students a chance to hone their skills against students from other elementary schools. Stanton Elementary. Stanton had a great week celebrating teachers and staff. Each day, students honored their teachers and our staff members. All staff received treats each day to include a breakfast bar, luncheons, snack attack, and fun Fruit Friday. Thank you, PTA, for helping to organize and celebrate our teachers. 4th and 5th grade orchestra and band students performed in their annual Ross Orchestra Festival and the district band concert. It was amazing to hear our student musicians perform. We're so proud of them. 5th grade students attended a Griffith Observatory field trip this week as a culminating academic event. Sutherland Elementary. Staff Appreciation Week, PTA showered our teachers and staff with breakfast, treats, and lunch throughout the week. Parents also showed their appreciation for teachers by bringing flowers, telling jokes, and wearing their teacher's favorite color. Sandburg Middle School. Honor Society students enjoyed a fun-filled day at Disneyland on May 6th, celebrating their dedication to academic achievement and maintaining scholarly grades. We are thrilled to recognize staff during the week of May 6th through the 10th, with special goodies through the week. We are proud of the Sandburg staff who have worked tirelessly to support our students and whose commitment to closing the achievement gap has not gone unnoticed, as Sandburg received the CA Distinguished Schools Honors on May 3rd at the Disneyland Hotel. PTA is sponsoring a shoe drive to generate some extra money and to support third world countries with new and used shoes they can repurpose. Shoes can be dropped off in the bins in the library. 8th graders are gearing up for the end of the year celebrations, including a trip to Knott's Berry Farm on May 22nd and a joint promotion celebration with Goddard Middle School on May 30th. Glendora High School. At the beginning of last month, seniors kicked off the season with our annual senior rally, an all-senior assembly where students enjoyed a hypnotist show. Our prom was held on Saturday, April 27th at Casa Vertigo in Los Angeles. The theme for this year was Met Gala, and over 800 students attended this amazing night. During this event, our prom king and queen were announced. Congratulations to the prom king, Will Coates, and the prom queen, Zeta Von Lutzow. GHS would also like to say thank you to our PTA, GTA, and ASB for celebrating our staff last week. We are grateful for all the adults who work tirelessly at GHS and keep kids first. Congratulations to Andrew Kashan, who competed in the Golf CIF Individual Regionals. Our swim and dive program is experiencing great success at the CIF level. We have 6 individuals who will be competing in the individual and relays at the CIF finals. Congratulations to Charlie Reuter, who completed at the CIF State Dive Finals last Thursday. Another highlight of the postseason was 9th grade student Maria Camila Lopez Rivera competing in the swim inclusion races at the Swim CIF prelims. Finally, our track and field is also celebrating a group of CIF finalists who competed this past Saturday. We are so proud of all our student athletes. GHS had a great time at the Ross Festival and District Band Concert this past week. We are in awe of the talent. We are reaching the halfway point of the AP testing season. Students are doing great and are well prepared. Final exams will take place from May 28th to the 31st. As the school year wraps up, ASB is preparing our final assembly on May 24th, where GHS reflects on the school year and properly sends off its students to a safe and fun summer break. Seniors will also look forward to the remaining events held throughout May. The Baccalaureate, May 19th at 5 p.m. in the GHS Event Center. Senior Awards, May 23rd at 6:30 p.m. in the GHS Event Center. Yearbook distribution for all grade levels on May 24th. Senior Sunset, May 24th at 6:30 p.m. on the softball field. Grad Walk, May 28th at 10 a.m. at each GUSD elementary school. Graduation Practice, May 29th at 8:30 a.m. at Citrus College. And lastly, graduation, May 29th at 6 p.m. at Citrus College. Finally, I would like to thank all of my fellow school board members and GHS for allowing me the opportunity to represent my school and have a voice within this district. I have created many memories with everyone here during board meetings and at school events throughout the year. Having this opportunity has taught me many valuable lessons that will benefit me and my future path in life. Thank you all once again.
Aiden, thank you for that. And since we're on this topic, before we move to our comments and then the comments of the superintendent, Mr. Superintendent, could we invite our other student
Yes,
reporter
Gwen.
up and
Yeah,
have her say
yeah.
a few words
Gwen,
and honor
please,
the two of them?
please come up to the podium if you wouldn't mind. And we have had 2 outstanding representatives. Obviously, you just heard from Aiden, you can see why. And you've heard from Gwen throughout the year. The input, participation, spirit that both of these bring to our district and to their sites is immense and probably immeasurable. And so we appreciate their time, their talent, very much that they shared. Our future, as I've said in another presentation, our future is certainly in good hands with individuals like Aiden and Gwen involved. So continue to be involved. We really appreciated your participation, your input, and your ongoing support of all students. And I'll leave it open for other members of the board to comment as well prior to us giving you a little
Before I
goodbye
open
gift.
it up to the board, Gwen, is there anything you want to add to the, before we start, Chapman?
Oh, a little on the spot here. No, I've really loved doing this. It's been an amazing opportunity. Also, looks really good on resumes and job applications, so I really appreciate that. I've had a lot of fun meeting everyone, lots of new people, and in different school events, like Aiden said. It's been a really amazing experience, and thank you for having me and working with me.
Thank you. Any board members want to add to that?
Thank you both for your service. I am incredibly proud of both of you. You've represented your student, your classmates very well. I love seeing you involved in your schools the times that I visited. You're very eloquent. I appreciate you. You make us proud. You know, this is not just standing up there and on a whim. Speaking is not easy, and you guys have done it so well. And I hope you've encouraged other students to participate and to make sure that their voice is heard, because we want to hear your voice. We want to make sure that the students are being represented as we make policy up here, that we're taking you into account. And I know there's various opportunities for students to have their voice heard, but I think you two had a unique venue to do that. So I appreciate you for taking on that challenge, for representing GUSD the way that you do. Congratulations on your graduation. We're going to miss you terribly, and I can't wait. Make sure you keep in touch, send us a little note here and there. Let us know how you're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing all that you will accomplish. So congratulations again.
Well, congratulations to both of you. You have done a phenomenal job this year. It's not easy when you get up and speak, right? You get nervous, right? It's a little nerve-wracking, but you two have shown great confidence with the way that you handled yourself on the dais. I also appreciate you guys understood of what the look is, how to dress when you come to a board meeting and when you're addressing the board and different things like that. So that will propel you in your future. Those are the things that you have to be aware of. And keep that confidence, because you're both great speakers, you're great people, and you've done a great job, and you do make GUSD proud. And we appreciate all the work that you've put in. Good luck in your future. And as much as we would love you to reach back out to us, we know that that's not always easy. We will try to keep track of where you are, and we'll ask periodically where you're at. Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations to you both. It was a pleasure getting to know you this school year, and you were perfect representatives for both of your sites. When I would visit, you all both were always front and center doing things. So you weren't just showing up here in this boardroom, you were showing up for your fellow students at your respective schools, and that shows that they put the right person in this position. I look forward to, as Mr. Lopez says, keeping track of what you all are up to. We look forward to seeing you both in 2 weeks, where you walk across the stage and you both will get a little more attention than a lot of your classmates from us up there. So be prepared for an extra hug or an extra fist bump, etc., because we're proud of you. We're glad to have gotten to know you, and we look forward to your continued success. Thank you both very much.
And you both have earned that recognition, so whether it's a recommendation to your next place, keep us in mind that you've earned that recommendation. You've been with us for the year, and I do like seeing you at the events. I expect to see you at city events and work on your next campaigns as you guys move up that ladder. But those last two gifts on the table are for you guys, so if you want to go up there individually, we'll go up and present those and take a snap with you real quick. We'll do you one at a time, so you can have those individually. Ron and Ava.
Okay.
That moves us to 4.2, comments for the members of the Board of Education. I'll start on my right tonight.
Oh, okay.
Trustee Garcia.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. I just want to say that as we wrap up, well, first of all, congratulations to all of the recipients of acknowledgements tonight, including our retired classified and certificated staff that we recognized earlier. I think I saw 413 years of service is or will be retiring this year. That's a lot of experience, and we are eternally grateful for their service to our district and the impact that they've had on our students and our community as a whole. Thank you again for your service. I do, as we wrap up the school year, this is our last board meeting of the school year, not our last board meeting because we meet every month. We don't take a summer off. We'll still continue to do the work, but it's Elizabeth had mentioned it on a prior meeting where it's almost so important to take a step back and slow down. As Aiden was reading the list, the plethora of events that are happening throughout the district kind of can seem a little overwhelming. We're like, oh my gosh, that's right, that's going on and that's going on. But last year was my first year experiencing it as a board member. And I have to tell you, it is an honor and a privilege to be able to attend every one of those events. I do try to make as many as I can, because they're all super special to me, to be able to the graduations, they kill me. I don't have a senior this year. Sorry, I'm not even gonna look at you because then you're gonna cry. But I have a junior and I have an 8th grader and he's promoting. And so, but seeing all of our families experiencing that, it brings me much joy. Our teachers, I know they all experience it with much emotion and gratitude and just all the feels. So take a step back, slow down, enjoy every single event that you can attend. It's extremely special. I want to thank again all of our teachers that are serving our students, all our administrators, everyone, all of GUSD. That includes community members because it takes everyone to be able to do all of the work that gets done for our students, and we're all in it for them. So I want to just give you a huge thank you for all of that you do. So yeah, I want to end it there because there's a lot. I can go on a list of little things, but that's really the message that I wanted to make sure I got across. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez.
I also want to recognize the retirees, all the people that were here tonight. I think we had a lot of people retiring, but for whatever reason, they couldn't make it tonight. And it is amazing with, I think it was, would you say 413 years of service? It's amazing. It's amazing that people stay, and they stay a long time in our district. And that speaks volumes to the students that we serve here in Glendora Unified. So it's a good place. It's a good place for people to stay and retire from. Also to congratulate all of our award winners tonight. Special night for all of them to be an award winner, to be recognized by the district. So that it's also special for them and their families also that support, as Trustee Reuter said earlier. And that brings up another, just a quick, and I think, did Jamie and, did she leave, is she out there? I think in the past, anytime we did any kind of recognition like that, I think it was opened up to the board to make comments on that individual, whatever we were recognizing that night. So I don't know if that's something we want to move forward. Do you remember that, Jamie, if we did that before? Back with Dr. Gomer and Farrell and Doris Blum, that it was just, gave us a quick little 30-second congratulations to them. Maybe, I don't know if that's something we do because they all leave before we do our board member comments. So it would be nice just to be able to say thank you. Yeah.
Sure
I don't think they are.
Trustee Reuter took a minute to do that, so you
She did. So I don't, but that's what kind of.
You can do what you want, basically.
I know, but I try to be respectful of the agenda, and I just want to make sure that if that's something we want to do, it would be kind of cool to do. Okay.
Sure.
That's enough. I don't need to say any more about that. Also got to attend the band concert. I didn't make the Ross Festival, but the band concert, and it was a special night for Gordon Norman, who was in our district a long time ago, and I think it was only 6 or 7 years that he was in our district as a band director, but did a lot in those 6 or 7 years in taking the band to Switzerland and things like that. But also, he just stayed involved with being part of the Rose Parade. And I was lucky to have the opportunity to work for Gordon Norman when he was bringing bands over from Europe and things like that to participate and drive instrument trucks and do all that stuff. It was really fun, and it's so appropriate for the band concert to be named in his honor. And so just that was and also a special special night. There's a lot of special nights at the end of the year. I'd like to also extend my congratulations to the Glendora Tartans in graduation, and Whitcomb also, the Wildcats. I will not be able to attend the graduation. We have our big award ceremony that night at Fountain Valley, so I will not be at graduation, but just to extend my congratulations to all students who are graduating this year. And it's wonky because our schedule, we end 3 weeks later, so we're just on a different calendar. So congratulations to all graduates of the Glendora Unified School District.
Trustee Ruder.
We're gonna, if it ends up being just the three of us at graduation, we are going to be busy. We are gonna be handing out diplomas like this. It's that time of the year where everybody's at a fevered pitch. I just want to remind students to do their very best to finish strong. Senioritis is a real thing in every grade level, but to do your best to finish strong. Thank you to our teachers. Thank you to all of our staff members. Thank you, as Mrs. Garcia mentioned, to all of our parents who are trying to help support with all the end of year celebrations. It's these moments that our students remember. Of course, they learn, and you're imparting all the wisdom, but it's these end of the year moments and these coming together events, all those things that are what they remember when they're graduating, and they come back and do that awesome tradition that we have of bringing the seniors back to walk through their elementary schools. So thank you for all the effort that everybody is putting into this end of the year time. I'm going to put all of my colleagues on the dais here on the spot here. By show of hands, who has registered for the Memorial Day 5K?
Oh, I'm going, but I haven't registered.
Okay. Okay.
I can't believe you just put us on blast.
You can, okay, you heard it here. Mr. Clifford said that he'd be happy to help sponsor. You can walk. You could bring your dog. Okay, enough of that. Enough of shaming my colleagues. I ran into Mike Bell, who is one of the organizers of the event at this awesome canine foundation that's getting started for our police force. And he was saying that the registrations are way up. They're up over 1,000 people already. They anticipate that it will continue to go. And I think this is a really important event for our community. Right? It brings together all different people from all different parts to do something together as a whole. So I really want to encourage all of my friends up here and all of my friends out there to consider participating. This is the second year. They ran a tremendous race last year. It was very well organized. It was very well done. It's not easy to pull something like this off, but the community members, the neighborhoods that you run through, they were out there cheering for you. It's such an awesome thing. And I don't know exactly what percentage of the proceeds, but they're giving back to GUSD with the race. It sounds like maybe trying to work towards school competitions as far as participation is concerned. I don't think we're quite there yet, but percentages that way. And they're really involved in the track and field and the maybe cross country, also boosters over at the high school. So they're really trying to give back to the program that's generating these student athletes here in Glendora. So I just really want to encourage everybody. It's Memorial Day at 8 a.m. and starts on Glendora Avenue, and it's a lot of fun. So I'll check back with everybody, or I'll look for you all there on Memorial Day morning. And that's it. Just everybody enjoy themselves for these next couple. How many more days, Aiden?
8 more days.
8 more days. Hang in there. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to wrap up by saying we are very busy at the California Distinguished School event. I got to spend some quality time with Dr. Porcel, her PTA president, and that was really nice. And what was really nice is that you would not believe how many California schools were there and how many California school superintendents and principals came up to say hello to Dominic and hello to Dr. Porcel and talk to them about how excited they were to see Glendora in the mix. But it was a busy, busy place that day, and I was very proud to be a part of that. We've had several, Trustee Garcia and I have had several meetings with the city in the past, since the last time we met, working on the MOU and some other city and school district joint ventures that are working very well on our shared properties. And I do want you to also know that we're going to be very busy during the off-school season, working on our physical plant, the way our schools look, the track and field at the high school, the baseball diamonds, and other things, so that when our students come back after their time off, they will be enthused to participate and do some other neat things. So the board and the administrative staff are going to be very busy, very, very busy from here on in through next year. And I don't see an end in sight there, but lots of cool things going on. So I appreciate all the camaraderie and all the emails and information that we get coming in to us as we respond to them as best we can. So thank you. I'll move on to the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford. Members of the board, distinguished guests, I will be very brief. We heard how many school days remain. That's for seniors. Let's just be clear. That's for seniors only. Seniors in high school. But we are in full flight to the finish line for sure. It'll move quickly. There are many exciting events coming. I want to thank our parent advisory group, our LCAP input group. I know we're having some more input this week for their thoughtful feedback. Those types of groups and those advisories, and our student advisory group did this as well. It allows us to reflect on our practices, determine the effective ones, and plan for our future as a district. We appreciate that very transparent, open input. The other thing that I've very much appreciated and am thankful for is the CSEA Classified Leadership Academy that's finished up, headed by Dr. Osborne and Dr. Prince. They had 5 meetings, I believe, guest speakers, including some of the very own CSEA members that were in the group. There were 20 members that graduated last week or so from this group, and I wanted to recognize them. I wanted to read their names because they're leaders in our district, and we appreciate them taking the time, carving the time to meet in this way and grow in this way and show another example of how they are a leader in our district. So thank you to the following people. There were 20 of them: Dana Aguirre, Eric Anderson, Linda Arciniega, Kim Fagan, Marlene Gomez, Jennifer Hinojos, Jessica Hiramoto, Shane Knight, John Kayumjian, extra credit if I pronounce his name right, Raquel Ledesma, Mary Jane Heath, Lindsay Parker, Henry Pinedo, Allison Ramirez, Kelly Reed, Jackie Ruiz, Bernie Schmidt, Cherie Smith, Ron Trabulsi, and Kimberly Healy. If you join me in recognizing them and thank them for their efforts, they did a great job. And I think next year, the certificated staff will participate in a very similar academy. Congratulations, as was announced, to many spring athletes. Our golfer, Andrew Gashon, who will go on to compete. I think he may still be competing, swim and dive. Charlie Reuter finished 9th in the state for diving. We had many runners that may be still competing in track and field, relay races, individual as well, and also some other relays from swim and individual races as well. So just amazing things happening across the district, and wishing everyone well the last couple weeks of school. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. DeGrazia, for everything that you and your staff do, the cabinet, everybody does for our students and for us during this very, very busy time, as Trustee Reuter said. The next thing that we're going to do, unless there's any further board comments, is move to 5.1, which is an ROP presentation by Bridget Hernandez. Bridget, are you here? You are. She's the Executive Director of Educational Services of the San Gabriel Valley ROP. And since acronyms are abundant in the educational business, I want everybody to know that it's actually the Regional Occupational Programs is what I believe ROP stands for. And back when I went to high school, that was the funnest part of high school. That was auto shop, body shop, all of those woodworking. We had all these hands-on, I think on the other side of campus there was homemaking and just all these different hands-on things that over the years some have disappeared. And I'm hoping someday more could even come back. But certainly if you could give us examples of some of those ROP classes as we're going, I thought it was a great part of my educational journey, and I'm hoping that we can even increase those as time goes on, because I think sometimes students miss that opportunity. That's my personal opinion, but the floor is yours.
Thank you. I agree too. Good evening, members of the board, executive cabinet, and the Glendora USD community. See Eric back there. Before we get started this evening, I'd like to take a moment to express gratitude to our core GUSD team for their support in our partnership. So we'll get started with Dr. Prince and Principal Norrell and Mr. Bondurant back there from the Ed Services side of the house. They've been instrumental in partnering with SGVROP to ensure that Glendora USD students are prepared for college and career. As we move on to Superintendent Walsiak, she attends regularly our finance committee meetings to ensure that we have funding for our programs. So big shout out to her. And lastly, Dr. DeGrazia and Trustee Reuter, thank you both for your leadership and support. I'm privileged and extremely grateful to work in partnership with this dynamic team. And we're here to provide the highest quality CTE for Glendora students. All right, so let's talk a little bit about that acronym, SGVROP, lots of those going on, and talk a little bit about who we are. So SGVROP empowers students to become confident, lifelong, and self-reliant professionals by providing equitable opportunities through rigorous career technical education. And we serve some of the local districts, as you'll see. We serve Baldwin Park, Azusa, Charter Oak, Glendora, San Gabriel, and Walnut Unified School Districts. And we provide high-quality CTE, and some of the ways that we do that is through work-based learning, state-recognized career technical student organizations, and much more. Now let's get started as we take a look at Glendora USD CTE and most importantly, student achievement. Let's take a moment to discuss how we got to this point. So back in 2020-2021 school year, I came on board, and Mr. Bondurant and I realized that we needed a tool to measure high quality CTE. So we were really inspired, and collaboratively we worked together to be able to gather data and use the 12 elements of high quality CTE as our framework. Without data, the first year we were able to measure CTE at a very low level. Some examples of that would be leadership at all levels. We measured that simply by saying, do you have a career technical student organization or not? Okay, so that's how low level it was. As we moved into the 21-22 school year, we began collecting data to measure more prepared and how prepared our students were in terms of the college and career indicators on the California School Dashboard. So using that same example that we provided earlier, leadership at all levels was not just measured with whether you have a CTSO or not. We were able to see based on data how prepared the students were based on competition placement. So if they placed at regionals, at the state level, or at the national level. In the 22-23 school year, we were able to step up our game by collecting completer data and special population data. So that was a request from some of our boards. They said, how are we serving our special pops? So we were able to gather that data as well. And I want you to keep in mind as we go through these slides, because you'll say, aviation is missing, or this is missing. This is for the 22-23 school year. So it's a recap of last year, and we've got big plans for next year, and you've seen some big plans for this year as well, too. All right, as we strive for consistent improvement, we've worked collaboratively to implement important changes. Our core team has shifted sections to create complete pathways. We've increased articulation agreements, and we've established a CTSO chapter that you'll hear a little bit about. And we've also created some work-based learning opportunities. In tonight's slide deck, you'll be able to see each high school has a complete pathway audit tool that includes current course offerings and the 12 elements of high quality CTE. You'll also see a high-quality CTE report card. In addition, we'll present a district summary where you'll be able to see some of the areas of improvement and some of the areas of strength. Our goal was to not only provide the areas of strength and improvement, but to work together to form a game plan to improve student achievement. All right, I know that's really hard to see. We will get you this slide deck electronically as well as what you have in front of you. The electronic version has links, so you'll be able to click right on them to see some of the things that we'll be talking about in the next few slides. All right, now let's take a look at how we were able to measure each of the 12 elements of high-quality CTE. So for example, student-centered delivery of services was measured by pathway sequences. So is there a concentrator and a capstone to make a complete two-year pathway? Equity is measured by the special populations that we serve. We provide access to all students by hosting quarterly career workshops and CTE online courses. Leadership at all levels, we mentioned, is represented in our CTSOs. High-quality integrated curriculum and instruction is demonstrated in the UC A to G approved courses that are offered to students. We also take a look at articulation agreements, and this is where students will receive college credit, so post-secondary credit. Our industry experienced teachers attend professional development regularly and provide skilled instruction. All right, so now we'll take a look at Glendora's course offerings, and you'll notice that they offer multiple sectors. So you'll see arts, media, and entertainment, engineering and architecture, and then the health science and medical technology. You'll also see that within these sectors, for instance, arts, media, and entertainment, you'll see multiple pathways. So you'll see commercial art, digital photography up top, two-year pathway, and then just below it, you'll see graphic arts, multimedia. All right. So on this slide, you'll see elements 1 through 6 listed, and you'll be able to see completers. You'll also see, like I mentioned, some links to our video recordings for our online career workshops. You can also see our CTSO chapter and different levels of competition. So you'll see the brand new HOSA chapter had 8 students attend state competition, which was really exciting. And then you'll also see some of the certifications that are listed as well there too. So some students from the Health Careers Pathway also completed CPR certification. On the next slide, you'll be able to see elements 7 through 12, and that's where you'll see career exploration. In the blue field, the next one over, you'll be able to see a couple of different data reports. The first one is going to be the data for both high schools, Glendora High School and Whitcomb, and you'll be able to see each individual pathway and all of the data that we've just discussed. In addition to that, the next column over, you're able to see the students that received post-secondary credit, so the articulation agreements with Citrus and Mount SAC, and the students that also received that credit there. And we've also provided some labor market data as well too, so just below on the blue column, you'll see the Center of Excellence data, which will give you labor market data from the region to be able to see what jobs are in demand and how our pathways align with those particular jobs. On the final column, or towards the end, you'll be able to see some of the flyers and how we intentionally recruit and market for our programs. And then in the next column, you'll see some of the grants that we've received to ensure sustaining funding. Finally, on the last column, you'll see the students that completed work-based learning, some pretty exciting numbers from Mr. Dobronsky and from the Health Careers Pathway as well, with students being able to complete work-based learning. This is where students get out to the work site, as President Clifford mentioned earlier, where they get out there and they're able to work in their field and really show some of the skills that they learned in the classroom. All right, so now let's take a look at Whitcomb. You'll be able to see the 2 different pathways that they have, 2 complete pathways for graphic arts multimedia and one for administration of justice. On this page, you'll be able to see the same across the board in terms of special populations, what students we're serving, all of the other details in terms of everything that they have there as well. One thing you want to take a look at, it's really important to note, as goals kind of vary for alternative ed students, completer data can be seen in different lenses. Is the student's goal to return to GHS? You know, sometimes it is, and sometimes that's reflected in that completer data. So with completer data for alternative ed, it's not necessarily good or bad if there's a 0 there. It just means they may have had a different goal. So we wanted to be able to highlight that as well too. All right, now let's see in terms of how we've turned the corner here in 2022 and 2023 and talk a little bit about some of the areas of strength, some of the areas of improvement, and some of the accomplishments that we've had. So as you can see, some of the areas of strength for both sites is the skilled instruction and sequenced pathways. So there's complete pathways there, which is great. Some of the areas that we can improve on is work-based learning. We did have some substantial hours in work-based learning, but we'd like to increase the amount of teachers participating in work-based learning. So 2 out of the 5, getting the other 3 up, we'll be able to move into that category next year. CTSOs, 1 of the 5 has HOSA. It'd be really great to be able to see a Skills USA chapter that's able to support multiple students on campus as well too. So we're working towards that as well next year. And some of the accomplishments that we talked about were the number of articulations. We do have an error on this slide, and I will get you guys the correct slide. I wanted to make a note of that. You'll see the correct number of articulation agreements on your summary slide in just a moment. But it was the first year for the HOSA chapter, and to see 8 students not only compete regionally, but also win regionally and go on to state and be able to complete at state was a major accomplishment. So we wanted to be able to highlight that for GHS as well. So here's the summary slide where we get to be able to see all of the students that were served. There were 561 total students served in CTE courses across multiple sectors. And some of the work is needed for post-secondary credit. We talked a little bit about that. You see 14 students received some college credit. Also in pathway completers, about 10% of our students are completing the pathway, so there's definitely some work there. Working with the counselors is really important here, making sure that they understand the sequencing. We've talked a little bit about some ways that we can do that in the coming year. Also, some of the areas, the volume we talked about in terms of work-based learning, 2 of the 5, if we can get 3 or 4 of the 5, and now with the new aviation pathway to have some work-based learning components, that'd be very strong for the dashboard. Our team is working hard to increase participation among all CTE teachers, and we look forward to the upcoming changes. Mr. President, Dr. DeGrazia, this concludes our report, and we're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that enthusiastic and outstanding report on ROP. I think that's really important. Any questions from the board?
Thank you so much for coming in and presenting. I was looking forward to this, and I have a lot of questions. Some I may sit down with you directly because I feel like I really need to, I have a lot of questions to truly understand the program, but just for the benefit of the community and those here, I have a question about the 10% completion rate. Seems low to me. I don't know if that's average, but my question to you is, what is keeping kids from completing? You did mention that you're looking into ways of raising that number. What have you come up with? What are we ready to implement? What kind of supports do you need? Those are 3 questions.
Great question. We talked a little bit about counselors and them being the front line. So really we've done in the past, and I think COVID got everybody a little crazy and everybody's been catching up since, but what we've done in the past is had counselor teas, counselor breakfast, where we're able to kind of sit down with all the counselors and really just kind of do this, share the data, talk about the sequence in the pathway. They have a tough job. They have a huge caseload, and managing that is tough. Understanding when you see forensic science and administration of justice, it's really not up front. Which one comes first? Which one comes second? It's easier when you have a class that's titled Graphic Arts Multimedia and Graphic Arts Multimedia Advanced, right? It's pretty clear which one comes first and which one comes second. But just really having those conversations is one way for us to be able to get in front of this. I think early education is important as well too. And I know you've made tremendous strides in starting at the middle school. Oftentimes students get to high school, they try something out for 1 year, and they try something different the next year, and then on to something the next year. And they've taken 3 concentrator courses, but not 2 in a sequence to be a completer. So some of those things happen too as well. But those are just 2 different ways that initially we can start providing more completers. Really just being able to make sure students are prepared for a pathway when they enter high school by that early exploration in middle school. That definitely helps out. And then the education for counselors in terms of making sure they're starting the pathway out the right way in the concentrator course and then finishing up in the secondary course.
Just to follow up to that, what kind of training are our counselors currently receiving to be able to properly guide our students into these careers, the pathways?
Right now, I'd say probably none on our end,
Okay,
and we can do better.
okay.
I will say at GHS and Whitcomb as well too, the counselors are really proactive and they do feel very comfortable calling me, emailing me, and reaching out whenever they do have questions.
Okay, and then I noticed that we have, what is it, 3 pathways? Am I reading this right at GHS?
3 sectors.
Uh-huh.
Let me go back.
So 3 sectors, 1, 2, 3, 5 pathways?
1, 2,
Is that what that
3,
is?
4, 5 pathways, yes. There's been some changes though. This was 22, 23.
Right,
so
because now we have the aviation, correct?
Yes.
And then do we still have the robotics? Okay.
We don't currently, but we do have some grant funding to maybe be able to put in some additional programs specifically.
And that was my other question. What are we doing to grow these pathways and what is needed in order to grow some of these pathways? How do we take inventory as far as what is needed and what the job market looks like so that we are preparing our students for those careers like right off high school?
Mm-hmm. So one of the ways is on the third column over where it says, it talks about data. The second one, when you get this slide electronically, on the COE data, I'm sorry, I can't see across the room, on the SGVROP COE data, that report was done by Mount Sac Center of Excellence, and it's a regional report. It'll show Glendora specific, it'll show the pathways that you have, and it'll show the labor market numbers for here regionally. Because that report was compiled for all of our districts, you also have the benefit of being able to see many other pathways that aren't here. It shows you a few different things in the report, not only the specific data in terms of needs for jobs, but it also shows you at the community college how many certificates are being awarded for that particular program and what the need is. So in that report, if you're able to see, we'll take aviation, for example. And this is totally the opposite. If you saw that 500 certificates were being awarded a year, degrees for aviation or their pathway, and there was only 200 jobs, it would give you an indicator that there's probably way too many qualified applicants out there and not enough jobs. Mm-hmm. It's the opposite for aviation, but there are some pathways out there that you'll be able to see that with. The labor market data is one piece. The district, I believe, takes student interest into account as well too. So taking all of those components together is how courses are developed. And there is a right mix, you know, right where you're at right now, maybe just right for the population size, maybe with the addition of one or deleting one.
Okay, that leads me to my final question.
Yes.
If you could wave a magic wand and add one more pathway to Glendora, what would it be? Based on all the data, I haven't looked at this data, so based on the data that you know, you've been doing this long enough, you know our schools, what do you, and I'm not holding you to it, I'm just
Sure.
kind of getting a feel for what you think based on your experience is something that is needed.
I think the most recent one prior to aviation is definitely in demand and it's huge. There's a huge pilot shortage and it's coming fast. So that is probably the best thing you could have done. Next to that would have been health careers, and you did that just before. So the district is thinking right in terms of what the market needs. Right now, what we're seeing is a huge need for cybersecurity. The tough part a lot of times is being able to find these skilled unicorns that are willing to give up that industry job that pays a lot to come and teach. So we find that difficult with engineering. We find it difficult with robotics and some
That's
of
where
the
those
other.
grants come in handy to be able to.
Yes, definitely. In terms of being able to fund the programs and to be able to provide professional development opportunities as well too.
Thank you so much for answering my questions, and again, I'll reach out so that we can sit down and you can help me look through that data.
I am
appreciate it.
definitely happy to do that and answer any questions.
Thank you.
Any other board questions?
You did just sort of start to, or Mrs. Garcia sort of touched on it for a second there, as far as how the ROP partners with Glendora Unified School District in the way of grant funding. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamic of the relationship as far as our programs, how you help us get the grants, for how the money flows, if you will?
Sure, there's a couple of different ways, but as we see the new revisions in the governor's budget, it's essential for us now to be able to look at different ways to be able to fund programs. We partner with Glendora USD to be able to annually provide Career Technical Incentive Grant, which is the CTEG grant, and that handles most of the foundational needs here on campus. GUSD does their own Perkins. We help to support it by supporting Eric when he has his advisory committee meetings and things of that nature. We also apply for supplementary grants, just like recently we applied for the K-12 Strong Workforce Program. In the last few years, we've applied for a couple of different grants with them, one specific to sports physical therapy and sports medicine program that we can take a look at maybe offering here at Glendora USD, and also one recently for hospitality careers. Okay, so there's a couple of different ones that are on the horizon that Dr. Prince and I are working out the details to ensure where they go, which campus, and in some terms, these grants can be used at the middle schools, so sometimes that's a better fit as well too. So we're really looking at how these grant dollars can be implemented and what programs that may lead to, but please know that the dollars are there, and we're looking forward to being able to offer more opportunities for students to successfully complete pathways.
Thank you. And there are expiration dates for the grants, so we continue to work very hard together to make sure that we're not giving any money back anytime as you go out and apply for these grants, or as we go out and try and figure them out together. I don't remember the acronym, shame on me, but there are people that will help us with our career technical education pathways and this data collection and all sorts of things. And I'm wondering if you might be able to let my colleagues know about that grant and those people and what services they might be able to provide here in Glendora.
So let me clarify, our college and career pathway advisors?
I think that's the right one.
All right, another acronym for President Clifford. CCPAs. Our CCPAs are our college and career pathway advisors. We do have dollars to be able to fund one for GUSD. We used one from another district, don't tell them, to be able to collect your data, and they've been collecting the data. But what they do is they work hand in hand with the teachers to be able to collect data and make sure that we have accurate dollars. They're also the ones that provide career readiness workshops, help students apply for their FAFSA, do everything in terms of college and career. Am I missing something on that?
No, you had that. They came and they did those great, they did a day at Glendora and they did a day over at Whitcomb recently. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about what they did there?
Sure. They provide workshops for students. So I think the last one might have been on resume writing. They do college applications. They come out and host a number of different workshops for students, financial literacy. Was it a different one?
No, there were a lot of flyers. They really do come, and I also saw the flyers for all the other different districts, so that might be where it's getting.
Once a quarter. They provide
and they come in, and these are just, and so it's not, they're not necessarily guiding us in our pathways or doing anything like that. They're there to help support the data and help support the teachers that way. So beneficial for us that way, and things that we can write a grant for to have that that help. So I just want to make everybody aware of that. I think that's all the questions that I have right now. I do appreciate your coming and all of the time and your expertise in this. I do think that we have opportunities in Glendora Unified to look at pathways that already exist, really. Things that we're already doing really well at both high schools that we could enhance with a pathway, if you will, to just name it that and have some intention moving forward that way. We've talked about some sports medicine. You just mentioned that grant. One of our colleague districts has an unbelievable visual and performing arts pathway, like unbelievable. And they didn't place a pathway on top of that school. That school was already doing exceptional with that work, and then just made it a pathway. Then they could get articulation from it. They could do all sorts of different things with it. So we don't need to create new sections. We don't need to reinvent the wheel on these things. Maybe just be a little more intentional on how we can enhance our students' experiences in an effort to help all of our students feel successful, right? You mentioned this at the beginning, how they were some of your favorite classes. How some kids really want to come to school and figure out how to move forward that might not look like a 4-year right out the door. So being intentional and trying to figure out how to meet all of our kids where they are and have them feel successful, I think is a common goal here. And I think that this is another tool on how we might be able to get there. So I look forward and thank our GHS team for their collaboration on all of this, and just look forward to the opportunities in the future.
Go for it.
No, you
After
go.
you.
I'll finish.
Okay, just, can you briefly explain the areas of improvement? You have work-based learning. What does that look like now, and how can we improve that?
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So work-based learning, the hours are pretty good. We had a couple of different opportunities. Mr. Dobronsky's kids did some work-based learning at the LA County Fair, where they worked with the fair team, and they actually got paid. They took pictures at the fair for social media for the marketing team there. So they did quite a bit of hours, and Ms. Tejeda placed all of her health career students out at your local doctor's offices and dental offices here throughout Glendora. So the number is good. It's the participation that's off. We've got 2 out of the 5 pathways participating, and the other 3, there's no participation. So in terms of work-based learning, we think of one solid way, and that's really just a kid going out to the workplace, but it can be a number of different things. It's really tough to get a robotics student or an engineering student in. Nobody's going to let them do engineering work, right? So that looks different. It's called job shadow. They go out and they watch a professional, and that counts for work-based learning. So we need to look at creative ways for our teachers to be able to provide work-based learning for students so that we can increase that number on the dashboard and it reflects positively.
Thank you very much. Just in closing, I just want to recognize a couple of, first, I want you to be able to tell Dr. Downing, you did a great job in your presentation tonight.
Thank you.
So tell Maura hello from all of us.
I will.
Secondarily, I want you to know that I feel there's a couple of industries, and maybe there's somewhere I'm not aware of, but there's a big need. There's a lot of things happening at the state level that trickle down to businesses, and it has to do with sustainability, environmental, and I don't see a lot of that in the ROP process, but I mean, we have, if you look at the website of the company that I work at, which there's many of in this region, we have a lot of jobs, and there's no pathway for, we have a title called Recycling Coordinator. It's a really cool job where you go out and you visit customers, you evaluate their waste and recycling needs, you try to help them be state compliant, you try to help them mitigate their bill and try to increase recycling and decrease what they're throwing out. There's sustainability jobs, and they're very difficult to fill because there's not a pathway for these new jobs that were created by new legislation just in the last few years with Senate Bill 1383 and other recycling, things that customers have to comply to, but the marketplace isn't preparing people for that. And I can envision ROP classes that are based on the environment, sustainability, and those type of things, and getting them teed up through the 2 and 4 year, the junior college route, and then launching students that have that certificate versus looking for people that graduated from a 4-year college and say, okay, I took a sustainability course, I'm good for that. I can tell you that there's a lot of that job shadowing and things that could happen regionally that would prepare students for jobs in the environmental sector, sustainability sector, which I think would be a good pathway here. Also in sales and marketing. I don't see a sales and marketing pathway And there's huge opportunity in our companies for simple sales and marketing jobs. And I don't see that connection. I think that those are viable connections. What do we have, 2,300 students at the high school? I think a percentage of them may end up in sales and marketing at some point in their career. And I think that the local companies would benefit from that joint job shadowing. We do that with some districts in the mechanics arena, in the diesel mechanic, gas mechanic, in that arena. And we get a lot of participation through Citrus College, but also through the Azusa Unified School District in that. So I'm just saying that I didn't hear anything about those jobs in the ROP business, and I'm hoping that the ROP is looking at that. I would argue that if Glendora High School offered classes in environmental issues, sustainability issues, recycling, coordination jobs, that you'd get a big percentage of students that want to do that, may even help them in their college pursuits. But definitely if they applied at local companies with that certification or pathway from, much like medical do, I just didn't hear a lot about that, but I think that those are new opportunities that have come, that have arisen from state legislation that's being pushed out to consumers.
For business management, we do offer that course online. We have a couple of sites that have it. And it's definitely very popular because it's always full online. So we do offer it to all of our districts in our online format. We'll send over those flyers as well too, because we're registering for summer right now. And sales and marketing is taught as a component in that particular course. But I definitely look forward to partnering. If it can't be offered on GHS's campus or Whitcomb's campus, I'd be happy to offer it on our district campus, which is right up the street, and open it up to GHS students to be able to participate in some of the sustainability programs, because I think it's definitely needed. And working with our community and being able to provide students with a pathway that leads to direct employment is always something that we're looking forward to.
You opened up a little can of worms when you just said that, as far as that. And I had talked to Mr. Bondurant about this not long ago, and he was asking me if the ROP was going to start offering classes again at your location. Could you explain, for the benefit of this group, what happened there, what it was, what it is now, and sort of maybe what you're thinking about in the future?
Sure. So our campus was in West Covina for some time, and we did offer secondary and post-secondary classes on campus, after school for secondary, all throughout the day for post-secondary. And when we shifted here to Glendora, it was right during COVID. We're on an AUSD property, and as many of you know, AUSD has just closed a number of properties and has them up for sale. So our property is set to be sold, but we are looking for, potentially once our lease is up, a new property to be able to house programs as we did in the past on our campus that are open to the community. In the past, there was busing that was available for students to get to. Now we have a little bit later schedule, right? So students are starting a little bit later, they're getting done a little bit later, and it gets, a little bit dark as well too. Our grant opportunities provide us with ways to be able to fund busing and transportation to be able to get to the site, but there's lots of work that needs to be done in planning a site. We can also work with our partner districts, as we have in the past, to be able to host classes at a campus that serves multiple districts that's funded through our district office. So those are other opportunities that we can speak with the district directly to be able to develop if there's a specific need for something, and maybe it's not fundable through GUSD at the time, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me. I just didn't, whether they're available or not, I didn't hear any of that in any of the pathways we discussed. And I just want to reiterate that I think sustainability and environmental pathways are really big right now. And there's a lot of opportunity that we can't fill jobs. And to me, I see a link there. Okay. Sales and marketing, the same thing. And I didn't see that in any of our links either.
Do any of our other member districts have classes that fit in the pathways, or a similar? Does the ROP offer any classes in any of our member districts right now that are similar to what he's talking
For
about?
marketing, sales, and service, yes. So we have a few districts that do, and that kind of sparked the online course because we have students that are interested in it, but I guess not enough at each site to be able to start a new pathway. And we also have to look at how we fund pathways, right? We only have a certain amount of FTEs that we can have at each particular site. For sustainability, no, we do not. Closest thing is Fairplex. Their CTE program is developing green utilities right now and is working within sustainability as well too.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the online class? What does that look like? What kind of credit do our kids get? I've never heard of it. I have a junior at the high school. It's not to say that she didn't. I just haven't heard of it. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure, absolutely. Each semester we offer online courses. It's an accelerated program. So students will complete 10 credits in a very short window, whether it be 15 weeks during the regular school year, during the fall or spring, or 6 weeks during the summer. And these courses are used for either enrichment purposes for students that can't fit it into a heavy AP schedule or just can't fit it into their schedule period, so they have the opportunity to be able to take the course. They're also really valuable. Whitcomb and Goal use them quite a bit for students that are needing elective credit or credit recovery. So they serve as double purposes. In addition to that, we try to offer what we can based on our availability of teachers. During the summer, we have health careers available, and we also have business management entrepreneurship available.
This is free to students, correct?
Yes, yes. It's first come, first serve. They register online.
Where would they go to register for this?
Each counselor receives a flyer, and it has a direct link to a Google form that they would complete. Right now, we have students that are enrolled from Whitcomb, and I believe Goal as well, too.
Do you know how many students are currently taking this online class?
I don't know
That's
the
okay, I
current
didn't
numbers, but I
expect you
can email those to you for sure.
And so your summer program, your summer class, what do you offer right currently this summer? What will you be offering online?
So those are the ones that we offer during the summer, the two that I just talked about. Spring, what we're offering right now is business management entrepreneurship. We also offer the second level, the business management entrepreneurship advanced. And the third class that we offer is retail sales. So for any of your students that currently work, have a job already, we are able to issue them 10 credits based on them going out to their job site and our teacher going out visiting with their supervisor and making sure that they're meeting all the components of retail sales.
I get my question, one of my questions, there's a million that I have, is how are students finding out about this? Like, is it just like, are they paying attention to the announcements in the morning, or is this an intentional outreach from our counselors, or is it if they're looking for it, they will find it kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it comes out a lot of different ways throughout our 6 different school districts. I think email blasts with the principal's message sometimes comes up with it. Definitely the counselors all have them. I've been in their offices and they have them posted up on the wall, and I know they distribute them as well too. But I'd say it's different throughout all of our different districts, and we can tell in the enrollment. I'm sure we have districts out there where it stops at, wherever it goes to, because I see 0 enrollment for those districts. And then there's some districts that really heavily push it. Glendora's always participated in these programs, and we've always seen students. I think we initially actually started these as a request because there weren't enough elective courses for the goal students to be able to choose from. So we said, well, how can we help? And they said, offer some classes for us online. And we said, sure, no problem. We offered some courses. We first offered it only to goal students. Once they completed, they had like a priority registration. So this is maybe a year. I want to say 2 years ago.
As a goal parent, I have seen these flyers. These flyers have been emailed to me from Mrs. Sally in my alphabetical, because my last name is R and that's her,
Caseload.
Yes, thank you. So I have seen those, but there is limited enrollment. So that's probably what happens to a certain extent in that it doesn't get flown far. And I mean, I don't know, but I will tell you that as a goal parent, I have definitely received those flyers.
So there's probably like a priority list.
I've had it out for, I don't know, a few weeks now.
Maybe Mr. Bondurant can answer that question.
No, but every time we get the opportunities from our
You know, I think this is an important discussion as it's evolving because, I mean, I don't want to say I'm annoyed because that's not the right term, but sustainability and environmental is such a big thing now. I mean, they have college degrees in it.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of jobs in it, and I think that that's something that ROP should pick up on. And I would also think in our, I've seen a draft of it for next year, our, Mrs. Norell, what do you call our registration book? Our catalog, in our high school catalog. Couldn't there be a page about the ROP offerings? There is already?
There's a
Okay.
special ROP.
And it lists all these
I
classes?
promise, yes, yeah.
Because I think that's really, that's really important, and I just, and I can foresee, I know there's money available for grants for environmental and sustainability training and courses, so I'd love to see a transition into that, and I would just think hundreds of students would be interested in that. Yes, sir.
Now I have something to say.
Yes, of course.
I knew if we gave
This has
everybody
been,
long enough.
this has been,
Coming out.
well, it's been advertised for years, right? ROP has always been advertised. It's been in our registration handbook for
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah.
Some questions are surrounding how many sections can we have, because we top out at a certain amount. The other thing is interest level. What are students actually interested? Our counselors can talk to them till they're blue in the face about going into a pathway, and they're just not going to do it. So and the pathways do matter, so you have to find the fit, which I think a little bit at Glendora High School, it's happened. It is starting to move. So my question would be, and it's more for clubs and sustainability. Jamie, Eric, do we have clubs that are, I think we do, right? We probably do. That are doing some work. Yeah, recycling club and different kind of clubs like that. So there are students on campus that are aware, but there is not, I don't think there's a current pathway that ROP has that addresses those needs. But we do have, do I agree that what you're saying is true? I think absolutely it's true. I think our kids are very aware of what's going on in our environment and things like that now.
Well, I think we sparked a lot of good discussion,
Yeah,
as
and-
we should
Yeah.
during a presentation of this magnitude. I think that, in my opinion, ROP is on the mend, like maybe it was dormant for a little while, but there's such this need for hands-on stuff right now, whether it's through goal or, I don't know what it's through, but I can just tell you in the marketplace, it's a big deal. And I mean, customers are still, we have hundreds of thousands of customers that are still adjusting to this. And some of our contracts even require that you hire 60 recycling coordinators to go throughout. I mean, they have that specificity. Okay, so then you look and see what is that job requirement, and it's something that is based on an ROP, like they're tangible things that you do. And maybe it's not changing brake pads anymore, but it's understanding the different flows of waste and recycling and how you manipulate and move that around to the benefit of Mother Earth. So I just think that they're different things, but new things.
I would love to collaborate, and I think it sounds very exciting to be able to offer these.
So, yeah.
Internal rep.
I would like to say that when I got on the ROP board a year or so ago, that I was so excited. I was going to go and talk to Glendora High School and add like 50 new ROP pathways because there's so many awesome opportunities out there. And then Mr. Bondurant's head exploded. And no, it really helped me to spend a day with him to understand what our sections were, what we've got going on. And if we add a new pathway, those students have to come from somewhere else. So they've got to want to come to that pathway more than whatever they're coming from right there. So I really do think that this warrants almost like a study session. And I'm not saying right now, and it's the end of the year, and everybody's really very busy, but this is something that I've gotten very interested in, and something, if I may be so bold, is to suggest that at a district level, we really need to talk a little bit about a career technical education pathway strategic plan. We don't really have, we've got some great, like I said, partnership at the high school, and we're figuring out sort of as we go along, but we don't have a 5-year strategic plan as far as our pathways are concerned. And I think that we might be able to benefit from having some conversation about that. So we can put a pin in that till next school year, but it is something that I feel like we could benefit, and we have a wealth of information between Ms. Hernandez and Dr. Downing as far as how to go about doing that. We don't have to create that all by ourselves. We have a real partner as far as that's concerned. So I might just suggest that all of us consider having a further conversation about what we'd like to see have happen for our students and what our students would like to have, would be requesting, would be looking for.
I think the other thing you have to remember is we have limited sections.
Yep.
So we're limited where you do. As far as a study session, I believe GHS has done that. So, so there is data that exists with Glendora High School also. For years, there's been data on what kids are requesting and what they want to take. So there is, I mean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The work's been done, and the work is being done. So as far as a study session, maybe we just need to get, just to hear maybe from GHS what is being done. Because I know counselors are doing it. I know the administration's doing it. Eric's in charge of the pathways, so the work's been done. So we just need to get the results of those surveys from the schools.
I think that's totally fair. Like I said, I didn't know that information until I spent the day with him, and he was super helpful and knowledgeable in explaining all of that information to me that way. Because like I said, I wanted to add all the pathways, give them all the choices, but there's a limited number of students, a limited number of sections, and a limited number of teachers. So anyway, unless there's any more specific questions.
I just wanted to say thank you again for coming in and for being so patient as we are as well learning about this. But I also appreciate that you let us know that the data has just recently been gathered and that you're putting it in here, and so now we can go in there. I'm looking forward to getting that link so that I can actually look through it and come to you with some additional questions. So thank you for giving us data, because that's extremely important.
My pleasure. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. All right, we vetted that out, probably more than we should have, but it was worth it. We'll move down to discussion action items. The first one is 6.1. We had a public comment about the joint sunshine proposal for negotiations between the CSEA and Glendora Unified School District. So since we opened up the public comment, we had none. We will hear a presentation from the CSEA and from our staff. After we hear that presentation, I'll be looking for a motion in a second to have our discussion. So let's hear the presentation.
Thank you. Before you is the initial joint proposal for negotiations between CSEA and the district. CSEA and the district are prepared to reopen the following articles: salary, benefits, calendar, leaves of absence, and hours and overtime. CSEA and the district are looking forward to working alongside one another to address articles of interest in the collective bargaining agreement. Additionally, the teams will work together to discuss any needed revisions in the agreement due to recent legislative or education code changes.
CSEA and the district affirm their commitment to a positive, productive negotiation process that focuses on the improvement of services delivered to our students and our support for our dedicated staff. The teams aim to work together to reach a fair settlement in a continued atmosphere of mutual respect, trust, and cooperation.
We extend gratitude and appreciation to all of our classified employees for their hard work and service to our students, their leadership and spirit of ongoing collaboration and problem solving that makes GUSD a special place to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
It
All
does.
right. Hearing that, thank you so much for staying with us tonight.
Thank you.
You were here early at the 5 o'clock event.
I was.
It was very
I was.
nice.
Thank you.
So now that we've heard the presentation and we had the public hearing, can I have a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for discussion. All right, is there any board discussion on this issue? All right, all those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposition? No? Okay, we will move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
The second discussion item is an approval ratification of the agreement with Zoom Corporation as soon to be presented. So go right ahead and present.
Thank you. I have before you today a request to approve a contract or an agreement with Zoom Corporation. This is an agreement to switch our phone service over to Zoom Phone. Some people don't realize Zoom actually does a lot more than just video conferencing. We have had VoIP phones or voice over internet protocol phones, so internet-based phones, for quite some time now. In 2017, we entered into an agreement with Cisco Unified Communications, and we bought Cisco phones, and we have our phones, as you know, we in IT lovingly call them like on-prem. So we have network equipment here that houses a lot of our phone management equipment and software. Moving to Zoom Cloud, so a web-based, cloud-based calling solution, means that we will not any longer have to have on-premises network equipment. So it's a cost savings because we won't have to refresh that equipment. It can cost in excess of $100,000 to refresh a lot of that equipment. It also means that we don't have to pay for our Cisco Unified Communications licenses anymore, which run us about $35,000 a year just for the licensing alone. Right now, it's estimated that between our Frontier and our TPX bills, which are our analog, like old copper line phones, and our digital touch tone phones for our Cisco phones, we're spending about $120,000 a year with our licensing and our phone bills and things. By moving over to Zoom Phone, we'll have the same kind of reliable phone service, the ability to have all of our numbers that we currently know as our public numbers ported over so we can keep our same phone numbers. And we will save a substantial amount. It'll take our annual cost down to like just under $60,000 a year, so about half as much. And so it just makes financial sense for us. It's also long overdue, I think, for a refresh because we've had those same phones since 2017, and technology doesn't last more than 3 to 5 years. So we're past the point of being ready for a refresh. So the proposal in front of you is to have an agreement with Zoom for the next several years. We would actually, because of our agreement with Cisco, we would have about 1.5 years free. So we would have Zoom established right away so we can implement it, get onboarded, and hopefully implement these new phones in the beginning of the next school year. We wouldn't have to make a payment until the 25-26 school year. And at that point, we would make a series of 4 payments of about $58,000. We would then also need to buy the new handsets, so new actual hardware phones. It's $44,000 about up front to buy all new phones for everybody. And then we have included as well an implementation kind of coaching for our team so that we can make sure that all the numbers are ported over properly, that all of our dial plans are programmed correctly so that when you call Glendora High School, it's like press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 3 for that. That all of that, we have guidance in configuring all of that so that it's pretty seamless. That also includes transferring over all of our fax lines so that our faxes will be transmitted through digital instead of copper line. That will allow some of our schools that don't have access to fax to have access to fax because they don't have a copper line near their machines. So it will allow them to have increased access. One of the benefits too is that with the Zoom plan, a lot of our like office users, our administrators, people who are in management positions, and other users that have high call volume will have premium accounts that will give them licensed Zoom accounts. I didn't include this in the cost savings, but it is part of the savings. Right now we pay about $10,000 a year for licensed Zoom accounts. We will likely not have to incur that cost anymore because of this plan. So it's another reason why it just makes good financial sense. So that's the first thing that I have for you this evening is a transition to Zoom Phone. And it would be implementation pretty much effective immediately. We wouldn't have the phones in hand, but we would start the phase of the back end work as soon as this month.
Okay, thank you for that. Any further staff comments?
I have a question.
Before we get to that, any further staff comments on the presentation? Okay, so the presentation will be closed. Now may I have a motion?
I'll
And a
second.
We have a motion and a second for discussion. You have a question?
Yes. Just for clarification, the total amount here says 309,000, blah, blah, blah. Is that, I know we're paying that in 4 installments. Is there a monthly fee? Or is this just a yearly fee that is incurred?
It's an annual, it's broken down, well, it's broken, you can pay it either annually or over months, but it's broken down, by month, it's like $4,000 or $5,000, I think, a month, less than what we're paying now. There is, in this model, there's an allocation of minutes for what are called our common lines, so classroom phones that don't have a lot of call volume. There's an allocation of minutes that we've allotted, and so within that minute range, that, like, this is the cost. We do have also the ability on the configurations to block, like, long distance calling and things, so we don't incur any additional costs. But the total that you see is like the grand total is the amount of the 4 years of payments plus the $44,000 for the handsets plus the $33,000 for the implementation support and the onboarding with all of the configuration support.
So what happens after 2029?
So then we do like what we're doing now, where we look at, do we continue with Zoom Phone and extend? Do we look for a different solution? You know, like I said before, like tech usually lasts 3 to 5 years, so 2029 gets us to that 5-year mark. And then we look at, okay, are we still in a good place? Do we want to continue? You know, do we need to refresh handsets? Do we need to adjust our plan, add or remove users? Okay. All of those things. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question just on the security firewall side of it, because it sounds like right now we have it in-house and the servers and everything are here. And you're gonna take that and you're gonna move that to the cloud. And so we won't have the, you know, I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent, but we have one level of security, you have a lock on the door, and nobody can get in there, and now it's gonna be in the cloud. And could you speak to, is there any additional costs with any kind of firewall or anything else associated with this to protect our data that's now going to be on the cloud instead of on a server in a closet somewhere in your domain here?
Yeah, so they're all, well, already, like, Zoom has really strict privacy and security policies, being a company that transmits data and does voice and phone for, and you know, visual meetings, or, you know, video conferencing. I'm like, I can't remember the, the word for it, video conferencing. But aside from that, everything still is traveling over our, like, internet protocols. So it's still traveling over our network, so it'll still be protected by our network firewalls and filters, just because it doesn't come through an on-premises piece of network equipment. It's still going to have the protections that are going to exist within our, like, web filtering and our network configurations.
And there's no additional charge for any new protection from that cloud
No.
firewall
Mm-mm.
thing?
No,
Okay,
no, and honestly, like, in that regard too, because we do have such a small district tech team, it feels to me more secure even to put things in the cloud for some solutions, because our ability to ensure that the volume of equipment that we have is maintained, up to date, patched all the time. It's a constant battle. So I mean, we got 0 vulnerabilities this week. We're doing well on our scans, but it's always good to be able to outsource when we can, when it's safe to do so.
Any further questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, that passes. Thank you. The last one is 6.3, which is approval or ratification of the purchase of Chromebooks with Intellitech as presented.
And that's me again. So this is just, you know, one of those long-awaited refreshes. It's been on our minds, I think, as a district for a while. We purchased a lot of Chromebooks during the pandemic, during COVID. We basically went 1-to-1 almost overnight. And so really, I've been trying to think of a strategic way to bring in a refresh cycle that makes sense, that won't dump, you know, thousands and thousands of new devices on us all at once and put us in the same position 5 years from now where all of them are expiring again. again. And so the best plan that I've, come up with thus far, and I'm hoping that you see it this way as well, is to refresh really primarily at the secondary, grades 6 and 9. So looking at enrollment for those grades, 1,000 devices would give every 6th grader and every 9th grader a new device to carry them for their career at that school. So 6th grade would keep the same device for 3 years from 6th, 7th, and 8th. 9th graders would have the same device for 4 years while they were in school, for 9th through 12th. The devices that I've proposed purchasing this evening were deeply discounted. They are at a fabulous rate, and then because of that, we were able to add some extended warranty protection onto those so that there will be repairs covered for at least 3 years of their life, so that we'll be able to outsource some of the repairs and do a really nice partnership with Intelitech. Because they're local, they'll actually do pickup and drop off at each school site, so we don't have to do any shipping of the devices or anything like that. And we've saved quite a bit on the price because we aren't paying for Chrome licensing anymore. We have enough Chrome licenses now. What we'll do is we'll deprovision or unenroll all of the devices that we have e-wasted or retired, and then assign those licenses over to the new devices that we'll receive. So the benefit of these new devices, of course, is that our students are going to have the tools they need to be educated and to participate in the things that we're asking them to do every day. And so the goal really is long-term to try to refresh probably 1,000 each year moving forward. And our business department and our team who formulates the budget has done a good job at allocating refresh money for that purpose. So it is something that's already been considered. Since we made that big purchase, we all knew this time was coming, and so it is in the LCAP and in our budget to refresh technology.
Thank you. Any more staff presentation? Nope. That being said, may I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Motion and a second for discussion. Any further discussion from the board? Nope. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. There you go. No opposition.
Thank you very
Moves
much.
on. Thank you so much for your presentations. That'll take us to item 7, consent items. Tonight we have items 8.1 through 11.2 that can be approved by one vote unless somebody wants to pull any of them. May I have a motion?
I move to approve blanket item consent 8.1 to 11.2.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, unanimously moves us to It moves us to adjournment of the meeting, 12.1. It is 8:53. Our meeting is adjourned.